There's not behind these covenant doors for a worldly type like you, Mrs. We're the dutiful sisters of the Edelweiss. All pure and saintly like. Now bugger off. Hang about. Ain't you that lass that goes by the name of Sophie? Ah, I knew it. We like to snilch all the rising talent, and from what I hear, you're head and shoulders above the rest. If you can handle yourself half as well as they say, you might well be of use to us. Ah, forget all that Sisters of the Edelweiss bollocks. That's just a bit of fun to fob off the curious coals. We're a guild of rogues, lass, and it's mainly our marks as does the praying. Me and mine work in the shadows of Limsa, taking a keen edge to the rooks and cracklers would have earned themselves a million. We don't tout for members, but every now and again we might offer a promising young a place in the ranks. If you've an interest in joining us, tip us your daddles. What? And we'll put a hilt in each one, just like the gods intended. Tip us your daddles. So, what do you say? Fancy learning a new trade? Good to see you're keen, but I should probably warn you on a few points before you dive in. Where most guilds take pride in turning their members into the best bloody candlestick makers they can be, we only care about getting the job done. And the job ain't pretty. You become one of us, and you'll soon be neck deep in scum and knife fights. So, if you're looking to scamper across rooftops and bilk dandies of their blunt, you'd best take up with a different crew. Think on that and come back if you're still keen. I didn't scare you off then? Benny. They told me he was a meddlesome lass, and so it's proved. You'll need every ounce of that metal soon enough. Now step inside and have a prattle with Jack. He's our upright man, the master of the guild. So the reason I want to do the rogue storyline is because while it did come last, and after everything else had already been done, I think that made it one of the stronger, quote-unquote, starting class storylines of all. It's definitely a really good one. Hi, I'm the one they call Jack. I'm surprised you've heard of me. Perhaps you'd be good enough to tell me your name, along with that the kindly cove has told you mine. Ah, the famous Soapy. Old Lonnie Left Patch let you in, did he? You can't throw a blade for shite, but that one eye don't miss not when it comes to sizing up Denver Mort for the Stalin. What are they saying? Just one thing, you ain't a pirate, are you? Well then, it's time you was stalled to the rogue. Pull on your best beater cases and I'll swear you in myself when you're ready. Now I could fill your waffles with the storied history of our guild, but that's just wids and wind. The most important thing, the only thing we care about, is getting the job done. Now, most folk, and I am assuming you're among them, know that not long after Limsa's founding, the city was overrun by a motley collection of pirates and thieves. But as wild as the lot were, it soon became clear that they'd all end up killing each other if they didn't lay down a few rules, an unspoken code of conduct, as it were. 1. You don't bite the purses of your fellow Limensans. 2. You don't rook a crew out of their spoils. And 3. You don't trade coals like they was cattle. Chattel, I don't know. I'll admit the finer points of the code are might murky, but most agree on those 3 at least. Now, You might be thinking none of that amounts to a sack of dillberries now the Admiral's outlawed piracy. But in the back alleys and black markets where Merrillwib's grip ain't so tight, the code's still alive and well. And just as the law is enforced by the Yellow Jackets, the code is regulated by us rogues. We go where the shadows are darkest and hand out justice to them as break the code. Some rum-soaked cove steals goods from the wrong coal, and we steal them back. That's the job, my naughty lass. Of course, we don't hop the twig when blade work's called for neither. You'll see there's more to our dagger play than just sticking coals with their pointy end. We'll weaken a mark with poison, fade away, and strike in the dark mass. Strike in the dark mans. Why would they just not say the darkness? Whatever it takes to get the work done. Well, Sophie, what do you say to that? Got the guts to do a rogue's job? Alright then, first off, we'll have to get your kit sorted out. A rogue needs to be light on her dew beaters to stay on a mark's trail. The job might have you fighting across the deck or weaving through a mob, and the last thing you need is a bleeding great battle axe that hooks itself on every rope and post. That's why we stick to daggers. They let you slip through the streets just as easily as they slip through a rook's ribs. Here, take these stabbers and let's see how they look on you. Just don't get so excited with your new toys that you forget to dress for the role. You'd be surprised at how many cults come back to me in their bloody small clothes. Kind of a funny little inside joke because that does happen, like when you change classes. You'll see here in a second. They gonna make you naked. See, you're naked now. Managed to strap those daggers on without cutting yourself. Well, we're off to a good start, I'd say. Next, you want to get a feel for the weight and speed of your new weapons. I reckon those bleating cheats in the fields outside of Limsa should serve you for the first lesson. Alright, test your blades on a few of them lambs and slice up some rats and pugils for good measure. Mind that you milled them beasties one at a time though, lass. I know you're served far worse in the past, but you're no dimber damber with them stabbers just yet. Honestly, I forgot how incredibly insane the dialogue in this is. Like, he's just out of control. He's just out of control. Done with your milling, are you? You can never have enough blade practice, lass. In fact, I'll even add a list of marks to your hunting log. Hit yourself against a lot and you'll soon learn some new steps for your dance with the daggers. Aye, you must think of yourself as a dancer, not a bleeding butcher. You only need so much as you only need so much force to ram a short blade into the hilt. Precision and speed, that's how you get the most out of your stabbers. Bulky armor will only have you plodding around like an ungainly aurochs, so make sure you're wearing gear that'll what'll let you move freely as well. Alright, get your blade work up to scratch, Sophie, and I might just have a job for you. Oh there, Sophie. I must say, you're looking comfortable enough with those stabbers of yours. Aye, I reckon you're good and ready for your first assignment. Ordinarily, I'd stow me wids and let you get on with your work, but seeing as we only just dragged you into the shadows, there might be a couple things what you ain't familiar with. Let's build on what you likely do know, and that's the fact that the Admiral, God bless her soul, has outlawed piracy in Limsa Lominsa. So, why do you think there's still so many sodden pirates in this town? I'll tell you why. Because there's still one way for them loot and pillage without incurring the wrath of the law. All you need to do is apply to serve the Thalassocracy as a certified privateer. A captain with a privateer's license is free to terrorize the seas till the old goats come home, so long as he only targets vessels that belong to the Garlean Empire. Of course, considering how bloody vast the Empire is, that's plenty of loot to go around. Crews fill their holds with Imperial plunder, then sail back here to Limsa to offload the spoils, and that's where this particular case went sour. See, this one crew got their fambles on a Magitech device, a firing mechanism to be precise, but was rooked out their hull by some heavy-handed coves. If you'll recall, that don't sit well with the code. If you're bold enough to rook a pirate out of his due, then you'd best be prepared for a visit from the rogues. Ah, and speaking of visiting rogues, Underfoot, over here, lad. I want the pair of you working together on this. Pass sentence on them code-defined rooks, and bite back that Magitech armor. Or Magitech part, not armor, sorry. What's the last need me for? You're in charge of new recruits, ain't ye? It's Sophie's first assignment. What is this music? Interesting music. It's Sophie's first assignment. You're to go along and give her the benefit of your wisdom. Since when was I in charge of new? Ah, bugger it. So I guess we're to be partners for now. The name's Paramu Haramu, but most of me fellows call me Underfoot. He might seem a touch reluctant, but Paramu's one of our best. You just do as he says, and you'll get the job done. What was that music? That was the weirdest music. Alright then, me young rogue. Seeing as this is your first official outing, I want to be sure your dance steps are up to the task. With them short blades, you need to get in good and close to your mark, aye? But we ain't bleeding swads in shining armor, and the lighter kit we wear ain't much protection from a click to the gang. So, if you don't fancy spitting blood and teeth, your best defense is simply not being there when your mark winds up to land a nasty clout. Sliding around to a flank usually does the trick, but there's some rum fun every rogue should master. The shade shift. Clear your mind and trust in your speed, and you can leave an axe-wielding brute chasing your shadow while you bury your stabbers in his guts. Right, now it's time you put this lesson into practice against some of these Orali out in lower Lenosha. I hope you was paying attention last, cause those tentacles can pack a wallop. Enjoy! So I haven't shown any of the video of Rogue Combat yet, but Rogue Combat is sick. I remember the first time I tried it and I was just like, oh, this is so amazing. Just watch. Tell me that's not awesome. And that's just your two basic attacks. Go on, tell me that's not awesome. You know it's awesome. Freak amazing. Done with your practicing? The stinging them tentacled buggers will soon teach you to stay on your toes, eh? Ahem. Now we've got your blood rushing, I'd say it's time to get down to work. First things first, we need to track down them addled coves what rooked that Magitech gadget. Might be as one of our rogues has heard something. The guild thrives on information, you see, and we've agents scattered far and wide with their glazes keen and their waddles on the ground. Let's pay us a visit to Italwan at the Drowning Winch. Ask her for a weak ale and see what that gets you. I'm not setting you up for a laugh, trust me. A weak ale. Welcome to the Drowning Winch. What's your pleasure, miss? I want a weak ale. Never in all my days. We may serve some cheap grog in the winch, but not that was watered down. If our usual ale is too bold for your taste, mayhaps you'd like to order from the underground menu? Ah, there's quite a lot on offer for a customer with your roguish charms. Was there something in particular I could help you with? Ah, the trouble over the Magitech loot? 'Twas not a subtle job. The gang in question is an unusual group of former pirates calling themselves the Dainty Demolishers. They seem to be enamored of court dandy mannerisms and have a preference for seizing Garlean machinery. They're also known for conspiring with goblins. Rumors say that the Demolishers visit a Beastman camp in Middle Lenosha to fence their goods. And those goods generally take the form of Imperial technology. I imagine the goblins were rather pleased to take possession of a Mark that anti-aircraft cannon firing mechanism. If you mean to steal the device back, then your trail leads to the goblin camp in Summerfold. Summerfold, eh? On your way, lass. Meet me across the river from the camp and we'll plan our next move. Get your noggin down, Sophie. I've been snilching the action across the way there. No sign of the Demolishers, but I did see one of them gambler co's stuffing the Garlean gadget into his backpack. I knew I told Juan would steer us aright. This is your chance, lass. Clout that gambler gobby and grabble that device. You stop saying words. I've lost track of which gob it was, but I'm thinking it's that sod on the left. Just make sure you dance away from the bomb blast. Twisting and dodging in the middle of a fireball ain't exactly effective. And while I'm here, I'm going to get these fishers. Since they're on the hut and log anyway. Well, I only needed one. Okay, well, whatever. I'll kill two. Because why stop at one when you can get two? That's the way, lass. There was naught for me to do but sit on me doddles and watch. So, you got the goods then. Aye, this is the vice, and no mistaken. Let's get it back to the guild, eh? We still owe them Demolisher bastards a million, but they'll keep for now. Here, you should be the one to deliver the prize, Jack. It was your hand what snatched it out of the goblin's paw, after all. Captain, I say, some fiend has perpetrated violence upon our goblin colleagues whilst we sought but to wet our throats with the fine libations. This will not stand, Captain. Our finely filched loot has been pilfered from under our noses. Blast and bother. My blood boils and bubbles at the timidity of this affront. I know not the identity of these audacious buffoons, but they shall be made to pay, and pay dearly. With me, my fine fellows. Huzzah! You managed to grapple that firing mechanism yet, Sophie? Ah, still in one piece too. You've done well for your first assignment, lass. It don't look like much, but that crew put their lives on the line to cloy this here bauble. They'll be pleased to see it snatched back from the Ruffmans. We've yet to do for the dainty demolishers, Jack. The job ain't over. You're right, Underfoot. It ain't. You break the code, you face the consequences. Oh ho! This is not at all what I expected from the insides of a coven. And who might you be, sirs? Ha ha ha! Your ignorance is understandable. After all, our schemes are always perfect. Our heists impeccable. Shall I reveal our infamous name and drink in your delicious terror? We are deadly, dastardly, and dictionally devilish. Quail before the dainty demolishers. Captain, I say, there's the louse who misappropriated our merchandise. I concur. She is the self-same simpleton whom we trailed unnoticed to this very establishment. Surprise, surprise! Now, my dear dandies, let us not be unpleasant. We should endeavor to resolve this distastefulness without resorting to insults or other less diplomatic methods. At least not yet. You there, yes, the clean-cheeked errand boy. Be a good fellow and fetch me your superior. One of your colleagues has committed a terrible crime against us, and we shall not be leaving until the proper restitution has been paid. Oh ho, an errand boy now, am I? Tell me, Captain, just what kind of place do you think this is, then? This place? Why, I suppose it's some manner of covenant. The one-eyed doorman named it the Dutiful Sisters of the Edelweiss, or some such. And you've yet to realize your mistake? Your fate was sealed the moment you dragged your sorry Corin across the threshold. Are you threatening me, boy? I'd have my fellows cut out that impudent tongue. We've exhausted our reserves of dainty today, lads. Show these fraudulent sisters how the demolishers deal with upstarts. You still don't understand, do you? There are but three sorts of coals what the doorman will let pass. Clients, recruits. God, spit! I'll kill y'all! Didn't your mom teach you not to interrupt a lady when she's talking? Ye'd have learned that the third sort of coal is a bollocks for brains marked, but marches himself right into the rogue's den. Rogues, but we were so careful. I'd heard tales of my pirate days, stories about the merciless wraiths who uphold the code. They weren't called rogues back then, though. The upright thieves they were. The knives in the shadows. You can't be them. You're just trying to scare me. Well, the captain of the dainty demolishers is not so easily cowed. To the hells with your deceptions. Huzzah! Huzzah for my fallen comrades! Deceptions? Aye. Anyone you meet could be a rogue, Captain. Even a clean-cheeked errand boy. He's still breathing. Find some rope and string him up somewhere in town. And now the job's done. Quite an introduction you had there, eh? Welcome to Limsa Laminsa's ever-churning underbelly, where the thieves shed their skins and become rogues. Tell me that was not awesome, because that was awesome. And that's just like quest number 1. I'm not much for discussing the old days, but since it's come up, I might as well clear up the confusion. It was back when piracy was at its peak. The coves what protected the code were Dimber Dambers, the best lads and lasses to be had from among the pirate crews. They bit back the goods what was unwrongly bitten, and came for the guilty under cover of Darkmans. Upright thief became the title for these coves what dealt in sanctioned stealing and milling. But it was only those as had cut all ties with the Buccaneer's life what was accepted into the ranks. Conflicting loyalties and all that. They formed their own guild, and even their own way of speaking, and what was once pirates was pirates no more. Later on, when Merylweb took the Admiral's chair, the upright thieves agreed to abide by her laws. We became the Rogues Guild to mark the change, and altered our recruiting policy to accept venturers like yourself. But although the title is different, the job remains the same. Uphold the code and preserve the underground society what spawned us. Just as you've done with this assignment. Keep up the good work, Soapy, and you'll go far in the shadows. Oh yeah.